I will figure that out later. But hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is a continuation of my hardcore series. You might be asking, Moon or Pero, whichever one you call me. I'm fine with either. I'm not really attached to either. But you might be asking, where have you been? The answer is very simple. I made a multi-hour long video, completely scrapped the idea when halfway through I got sick of editing the footage, and then I got into a master's program. So I'm still in college. I'm in my senior year, but I'm also now doing the work to get a master's degree. So I thought, what better idea than to learn from Gemini Tay and start using my free time late at night to record and edit videos again. There's no way this can go wrong. But this video was made slightly easier. This is in 1.21.7 for Minecraft, so about the newest update. I think there was a bug fix to update to 1.21.8, but eh. Anyways, this is modded. It is only lightly modded though to make things better for the visual experience and to add a few tricks like the map. I love this mod. I love this mod so much. For no other reason than for the goal of surviving longer than a singular video. For anyone who doesn't know, I have been trying to make a hardcore world just to the point of defeating or getting into a fight with one of the major bosses in the game. I have never survived past the first video, and it is embarrassing at this point, especially for someone who is a veteran of playing Minecraft, who has like, I think over a decade under their belt, to continually die like this. But I'm gonna be really open about when mods appear. I think that's actually a mod. I have a mod that just kind of takes vanilla structures and doesn't make them better, but gives versions that have slightly better loot and just give them more interest. So some villages have slightly better loot. And there are villages in more biomes. And then there's like there's an extra type of shipwreck. And then there's like a rare kind of desert temple that I have died to multiple times now because it's like ultra trapped with spawners and stuff. And it doesn't give insanely better loot. It gives just soft. The best way I can describe it is softly upgraded loot. Like you might get an iron piece of armor or an iron tool from the shipwreck or from a blacksmith, but you aren't getting like diamond or enchanted stuff. So it's just things that make the game a little more interesting, make it feel much more new and exciting for someone who has played for a long time, especially who has played almost all of that time solo. And it just makes it easier, so I hopefully do not further embarrass myself in hardcore Minecraft. I'm actually even going to, before you even see this video come out, I'm going to pre-record at least 2 more videos for the sole reason of I'm not posting another video only to have to end the series either during that video or the next video I put out. unless this shipwreck exists in um vanilla, but I just never encounter it. I'm pretty sure this is solely just a modded thing. But yeah, we get more chances of red. And this is a great example. Just some saplings, some iron, some boots. And it's just like having a completed shipwreck. But it's 3 barrels instead of 3 chests, and it's not an entire ship you're going through. Actually, in some ways, the loot's not as good as if you go and find a shipwreck and go into the treasure room and get like a buried treasure map and stuff. You trade out the buried treasure map for chances of bread or some extra chance of iron, which I honestly kind of prefer. I'm going to warn people now too. I have zero clue what my plans are to build my base or to do stuff. The extent of my plans is collect things and find a general area to settle. I'm gonna say mods as I use them if I use them, but you'll notice I have a tree chopping mod, and that is literally only here for my sanity. It it makes the game slightly easier if you don't break an axe in the middle of cutting a tree, but it also just keeps my sanity of I could break down a giant tree or I could shift. It would use about the same amount of durability that would usually be used to cut down that tree, and it instantly gives you all the leaves and stuff. So it also saves time making this video. I should be killing the cows for food and leather, but the sun should not be setting already. The sun should not be setting already. Hold on. Shoot, 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 shoot. In a moment, we might be spending the first night in a hole in the ground. This is where I use the map to get an idea of what's going on. I'm on an island right now. The island does not have a village. The cold cows cannot give me wood. I have not seen a sheep. I can even get an idea by pressing tab of what kind of mobs you are seeing, and monsters are spawning and there are no sheep. So we have 2 ways to go about this. And this is my solution. As long as you keep going, honestly, I do recommend going out in a boat in the middle of the night, because you aren't fighting mobs, but you can go exploring and do things like go over here and say, hey, there's a, yeah, that's a dark oak biome right nearby, so we now know where we can get that kind of wood. And I usually like basing at the water's edge somewhere, because I like going out and exploring and doing things. So this also lets me start looking for where I want to base. I'm trying to think of things I can talk about. but I cannot. So I'm just going to continue sailing. This is a big dog oak biome. There might be a pale garden somewhere. There's a pale garden in there, and there's another over there. So yeah, it gives me more chances of finding like biomes and villages by using this mod, and it lets me set waypoints. But it honestly doesn't feel that much different than using Trunk Base, if you know the website. Honestly, Trunk Base feels more cheaty for finding things. This gives me an idea of like where caves are and stuff when mining, but I can follow monster noises to find those same caves. I have tested this out in a lot of different ways, like followed it through, and I've really landed on the conclusion that using it does not feel cheaty. It just feels convenient and kind of like I'm saving some sanity. But this is just a great thing to do at night. I get to look around, I get to see, okay, what kind of biomes are there? I love snowy biomes, but I don't plan to base in one because the ground commonly gets covered in ice, and I really enjoy foaming. But yeah, I'm just slowly going along here, and I'm trying to see what I will find. I'd be willing to go near a forest, but I like to have a bit of a biome that's already slightly flattened, and that happens a lot in plains, but in forests it's much more likely to get these jagged areas, which can be cool in some builds, but is not something I want personally, at least right now. For my very basic ideas of where I want this to go, they do not work. You can also see where there's like dropped blocks. Like I'm looking and you can see some leaf litter and kelp when I press tab, and that's those red dots. And I'm not sure if I have this on the original keybind or not, but I'm pressing Q to enlarge the mini-map so I can see more. But we can see a village. That is a very positive thing. We're still slightly near the cold biomes and stuff, which is nice. And it also looks like if we go right along this waterway and continue going straight, because we need to now avoid a scully too, then we won't connect to the village, but we will be very close. Yeah, like we can even see the village right there. So even if I didn't have the mini map, I would still be going down this way and I would discover the village. It would be very possible to make a canal like right between here and here. So I actually, looking at this, we're still near the cold biome, which is awesome, so I can still appreciate and have the cold biome. And this is very much a vanilla village. We can tell by the fact that it's in a place where vanilla villages spawn. Some mod I forgot to explain. I have a mod where you see at the top of my screen, it's like showing the furnace and stuff. I believe that's the Iris mod. I might have that wrong. Yeah, so it's not that. I think it's the Iris mod. But it just helps me remember, like, oh, you need this level of pickaxe to break this thing and stuff like that. I don't want to settle inside the village because I get slowly driven insane when I do that. Because the villagers will come, like, try to use my tool blocks like a stone cutter and stuff and turn them into their job blocks, and it just very much long term aggravates me, but I do like settling near a village. I also have mouse tweaks, so I can do things like that. I do think I want to settle here. I'm trying to figure out where I want to settle. This is also why I like to use this map, because if we zoom in, we can see the elevation of things. So we can see, like, I wouldn't want to move right back here because this is an area that has a lot of upward elevation. So it would just be something where I would be doing it a lot. I would be like flattening area down a lot. Over here, I'm completely cut off from water without climbing up a hill, so I would not want that. This area is a possibility, and it leads out into the bigger waterway, which is good, but it also is much further from the village. So it's a possibility, but it does have its cons. I don't think I'd want to settle over here because whilst there are some flat areas, they're very small flat areas, unless I went back here, which cuts me off from both the village and the water. So with my goal of staying near-ish the village, I think going right here is my best bet. I'll have some elevation to play with. I will be within the same area as the village, but I will have the distance that the villagers don't wander over and try to steal my job blocks. And other things. This is an abandoned village. I could move here. The abandoned villages are actually really cool. They're like stone rubble and stuff, and you'll find them in being overgrown in random pieces of terrain. But the cool thing is they don't have any loot or anything, so I could go explore this, but there would not be really any reason to. But we did not see any other signs of a village. We have an outpost over here. I'm going to actually go just like that, create a waypoint, and in dark red, I'm going to mark it as an outpost so that I know to be careful around that area. Here's the cherry biome we saw at spawn, because we spawned like right here. The spawn terrain was a nice flatness, but it's very, very far from over here. I just found there's this frozen village, but that is so incredibly isolated. But I can mark that, and I use dark green, and I say village, but this is the second village we found, so I put 2. And then I can go right here, and this is our first village. This is our first village. And so in dark green, I can put village 1. And this lets me know where my villages are that I can go to trade or see people or other things. But from what I am seeing, unless I want to go all the way back through here and go off in this direction, using the main waterway, there's not another easily connected village. So we are actually going to leave the map and we are going to start wandering over this way. And we come just over here, and this area looks pretty nice. I am happy with this, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to, what do I want to make my home point? I will do blue, and I will say, oh. So I now have this. I'm going to put 2 chests there, 1 there. This one is for that. This one is for everything else. I need that actually. I need to actually go back to the village in a moment and grab a bed. That is something I do not have here. But let's clean up this. I don't know if other people also have this opinion, but I hate the double high tall grass. It obscures my vision. It doesn't have any difference from the one block ones. So I just usually, nearby my base, I usually just get rid of it. But now looking at that, I have the area and ability to do that. I always use some of my beginning iron to get that. I'm gonna use the other two to make shears because I want to go to the what is it called? The Pale Garden soon. I did not realize I grabbed that much obsidian. Where did I grab that from? I thought I got like 2. Anyways, this also lets me, instead of going all the way back to the village, I can just grab a sheep nearby and shear it. Come here, sheepy sheep. Yay. Which try does that one make? My main go-to game colors in a lot of video games are blue and pink. If anyone's curious, I love purple too. Yeah, it does. But I love purple too, but in Minecraft at least, they have a pretty dark purple, but I don't like, there's no light purple blocks that really catches my eye. They have some beautiful dark purple blocks, but I'm happiest when it comes to blues and purples when I can get a light and a block and a dark one. So we have a bed. Then we can go over here. I'm gonna do some soft terraforming of just removing those blocks. Okay, so this is gonna be perfect. And then I have 2 extra potatoes. And I want to do that. I need one of those. Some of that. Some of that. Let's start off with, I think I'm gonna do chickens right now. Because I have 2 easy to reach chickens. I've learned my lesson, no caves until I am fully kitted out. Only treasure hunting before then. I learned that as I was doing some off-camera hardcore, just trying to get better at it. And I was doing really, really well in a world. And then in a world where I was starting to try to get enchantments and stuff, what happened was I was going into a cave and I was being incredibly, incredibly safe. And I encountered a skeleton and a creeper that stood on like a block above me. And the creeper started to explode, and I was like, oh great, I can use this to kill the skelly too. So I went to do that. Well, the skeleton notched and shot an arrow before the creeper got the chance to explode. And well, you see, the creeper got shot literally one block behind me. So now suddenly the shield is worthless. And I died to a creeper, even though I was in full iron armor. So I have learned my lesson. We're going to be very careful. I really want to bring back, I love the cold variant of all the animals. So I do think I really want to bring back a cold chicken and a cold cow when I have the chance, because I can also breed those to get more. Okay, next I'm going to make a pen for sheeps. And I'm gonna do this one right over here. Long term, I do want to make a barn. But I do not currently have the resources to do so. And there are some people that can do really amazing things and in their first video go like, well, I don't have the resources, so I'm gonna go get them and now I'm gonna build a barn in the starting video. I'm not doing that. This is gonna be going at my pace, which is admittedly a slower pace. But I think it's good to also show that side of the game. There are people that play this at a slower pace. Not everyone is rushing to do things like getting full diamond in the first episode. I have hay bales. I have hay bales. I can get the sheep right now. I thought I was waiting on the wheat. I forgot I had hay bales. Whoops. I specifically want to go up here, so I also get this guy. Something very random I have learned is how to get as many wool colors as possible using as few dyes as possible. And pretty much all the information you need to know about that. And that is going to be something I do. Come here, sheep. I'm running up here quickly to grab a red flower, but you can see I only used 2 dyes so far, but I already have 2, 3, 5 sheep colors, and I'm about to get 7 sheep colors by just going like this. This also lets me see breeding cooldowns, which is really, really nice when doing this. But yeah, you can mix sheep colors if you know the right combinations. So black and white make dark gray, red and white make pink, blue and white make light blue, which I don't have right now. You can get orange, you cannot get green, but you can pretty much mix and match a lot of other dye colors outside of the primary colors. I'm not going to bleed them just yet, because it's not like something where I'm specifically mapping out all the wool colors. It's I'm grabbing as many cows as I can. So I will go all the way over here at Cameron. Can go like that. And I'm specifically color mapping right now. So let's see, I have red, orange, yellow, neither green, blue, no cyan. I am doing purple next, then purple and pink get magenta, and then pink. And then I have black, gray, white. So yeah, I need brown, some extra time to let them breed, and then at least 1 cactus, and I will have all the colors. Y'all are still on a breeding cooldown. Okay, that is the base that I'm gonna be using. So start then just clearing this out. We have some extra seeds to either increase the farm later or to feed the chickens. And now is kind of the point where things get interesting, because for this layer, I want to use tough bricks. We do not have tough bricks. Tough bricks are ways down. I'm looking. Ooh. There we go, purple. And now I can't do anything until the purple one's grown up, so I'm not gonna worry about it now. I'm gonna come get an egg from, or I'm gonna get some eggs from the chickens. Toss those. So, there's a lot of ways I can go about doing this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off screen for a second. There's no trial chamber and there's no mine shaft directly below this little peninsula we're on. So I can dig down here, and I'm going to dig a little 2x2 hole after I get some more wood to make some more ladders. and it means I can go down to a depth very quickly and very safely without going in a cave where I'm risking dealing with monsters and other things. We plant trees here, by the way. And it means I can get down to where there's stuff very, very quickly. And we've encountered our first problem, which is a water cave. So all we need to do is surround this area. Ooh, this is much bigger water cave than I thought it was. But long term, I can also, because I have this cobblestone here, I know where it is. So I can long term also come back to this area, create some signs and stuff to make an airway in, and go water mining. This is admittedly looking up where I made a slight uh-oh because it's dark out. And I'm gonna run out of ladders. And I didn't light up above. So I saw. Yeah, no. We are going to sit down here. I'm going to cut to daytime. We're gonna go up, get more ladders, and place a bunch of torches. I am back. I did something AFK, so I think it's actually later in the day than I meant. Okay, it's not that much later from when the sun's coming up. Okay, so for right now we just have some general torch spam. I'm going to, so I can walk at night and stuff, I'm gonna go get some more wood now. So I can just make a bunch of ladders. Yay. So I did that in a very specific way, if you guys didn't notice. I casually got a random amount of oak wood, and then I started getting birch, and I got an equal amount of birch to my oak. And that just made things easier as I went and did that. And now it's back down in my hole. Whee! I forgot how shallow that is right now. So what are we looking at? This is the one time where this becomes a little cheaty. I can look at what insane type of cave system I might be in. That looks a lot like something I don't want to deal with, but it looks like we might be getting into another water cave soon, which is good to know. Oh, jeez. We are not going over here right now, because apparently there's a bunch of water caves, a trial chamber, and a mine shaft. This time I am specifically making a opening. I'm also ignoring the iron there, but I'm making this opening so that I can come into this cave at a later date. So it was at this point in the video that my OBS apparently completely crashed and did not notify me that it crashed. So there's about, I want to say 30 minutes maybe of footage that's just missing and wasn't recorded, but I'm going to sum up what happened. So we got down to tough bricks and we started just used the stone cutter to turn the tough into tough bricks and putting them on. We also then got a roof set up on this basement level that led up to these spruce slabs. And it was at this point that I kind of made the disclaimer of I do really enjoy making these videos, but you'll notice I'm not making them to the point a lot of professional Minecrafters do, and that is for a reason. I respect what they do a lot, but I'm doing this as a college student and as a hobby, so whilst I think it's very, very cool when people can do videos where in the first one they have the entire house set up and stuff, that is just not something I am at this point capable of doing in my life. So I would rather bring you the genuine content and be able to do this for fun and as a hobby than to stress myself out worrying about getting all the materials and making an entire fully set up house in my first episode. And that's probably going to be the way a lot of these videos moving forward are also going to be designed. Of I'm going to get a lot of stuff done, I'm going to do things that are fun and interesting, but comparatively to a lot of the people that are trying to do this as a career or are doing this as a career, I will probably not be as productive in these videos for the sole reason of I do not have the energy and the time capabilities, and I am doing this for fun and as a hobby. So I am going to put the boundary for myself and the importance of, since this is fun and for a hobby, I'm not going to stress myself out trying to make this like insanely cool or anything else. Honestly, my sole goal when I make these videos is that the Minecraft community on YouTube has been such a spectacular place to hang out and meet people, and I have met some of my very best friends when geeking out about the Minecraft community. So I'm gonna make some extra sticks. So because of that, I really want to give back in my own way, and this is the most productive way I can think of giving back. And this is the most meaningful way for me to give back to a community that has meant so much to me. So I'm gonna make these videos. It's gonna be fun. It's going to be random. I'm not at all a professional Minecrafter. I'm not at all a professional video gamer in general, but I love doing this, and this is fun, and this is something that I wanted to do to give back to the community since I was like, oh gosh, what was I, 7? When I first started, I didn't post videos, but I started just recording content and trying to design content ideas and stuff, and that was back when I watched Dan TDM and his modded Minecraft videos. So, in all honesty, I am not going to make content to some of the expectations some of you guys are going to have for me. But I am still going to be proud of the content I do make, and I will want to share it with y'all. So this is kind of just like a very long-winded disclaimer that as you watch my content, you're gonna look at it and be like, well, why aren't you doing things to the level that other people are doing in their early content or in their first video for a series or something? And that is because this is a hobby. This is for fun. This is a how much random things can I just do and have fun doing and record and feel good about. I do not make income off of this, so this is never my first priority, honestly, because I need to support myself. I have parents that I want to be able to support long term. I have a brother in college who I want to be able to be there for. So this content is never my first priority. This is something I do because I'm proud of it and it's fun to make, and I feel like I'm giving back to a community that has done so much for me. We got some extra things done as I was explaining what happened with the corrupted video files, and I will see you guys next time. Carry on my constellations, lots of love, and bye-bye!